Y'all, I literally just woke up, so please mind the hair. I was talking about something really deep last night, like super deep last night. Actually, something that was worse than the devil or Satan or whatever. And the name that popped up, we got real deep, literally real deep, real fast. Felt like I saw a bunch of very mystical things inside my home. Like for real, for real. Like actually for real, for real. Went to sleep last night, right? Didn't look up anything too crazy before I went to bed because you're not supposed to do stuff like that. I was alive in my dream. I was walking around doing a bunch of shit. This whole thing. So, the thing that the most like remembered, like am remembering the most about it is that people were going out to battle. Okay? And there was this lady. I don't I don't know if she was like, well, not my mom, but she was a mother figure. Let's just say that. She was in a plane, and the plane had like all these balloons around her, and it took her forever to get down. But her kids, there's two of them, a boy and a girl in specific, they were down here. I went through all of these different rooms. There's all these like tables with like food and shit on it. Almost look like a little town or something like that. And they had all these like tents and rooms, and then they turned into real walls. And then I was uh trying to become a waitress or something, and they were like, okay, well, let's eat first. And I was like, well, what can I eat? And they're like, well, we don't really have much right now. We got some beef. And I was like, it sounds good if the only thing we have down here is beef because we have to go into battle. I would really like a burger and some fries, right? There you go. They're like, oh, we don't have any potatoes. I was like, no. It probably was hell then, huh? Oh, french fries. But it was some pretty crazy shit. These kids, these rooms were like super fucking crazy. These people were like hiding these kids in this room, and there was like people around them. I think when people do fucked up shit, it's just something that they just bypass inside their brain of, hey, we just are doing some fucked up shit so nobody says anything. So this girl, right? There was this girl. She was like going in and out collecting items or something like that, and then going back into the room before anybody noticed. But of course I noticed, right? Right before the lady came down, right? And she was in the plane, and it took her like, no joke, this is how I know. It took her like 2 weeks. So I literally was just in a dream that I was sleeping for, I don't know, what time we go to bed? At least 8 hours.
It was a long time. We went to bed, I think, around 3.
Okay, so we woke up about 12, and yeah, we slept in, and we went to bed around 3. So do the math. And as soon as the lady was close enough, she actually jumped on top of like a building, and she got her way down. And I was there. I was like, "This, I need you to come." She's like, "I need to find my kids." Blah blah blah, all the good stuff, right? But the kids had already been taken, and it was like the kids had been taken right before she had gone down to go get them, and basically all that shit, right? And we were in this room, and I was like, "You can't go over here. You can't go over here." And obviously, there are people around that literally, like, no joke. I don't know to say if they're like guards or just people, I don't know. They were just part of the town, right? So they just kind of keep an eye on shit. Excuse me. So I took her into this room. In this room that I had taken into her, I had shut the door. But this guy had come in, and he actually looked like my brother Christian, but he wasn't my brother Christian. And we had these shirts on, and so it was like I was a part of this thing, right? And I was like navigating people through, like like I was helping the kid. I was helping the girl, so nobody like basically nobody could do anything to her. She was like going in and out because I was like, "Oh, I have to serve people something. I don't fucking know." So the lady came down, helped her, and I moved her into this room, and I was like, "You just got to be quiet, blah blah blah," right? And then this guy pops in, he's like, what's going on here, blah blah blah. He's like, oh, whatever, because we had like the same type of shirt on, right? And I was like, yeah. And he actually ended up helping us out. He's like, while you're doing this, he's like, when like there's a bunch of people that are doing bad shit, there's always somebody who's like, I just don't want to do this shit anymore. Maybe he was against his own will. He looked like a teenager. He looked like just like a teenager. Like maybe he was just like already in it or something when he was a kid, and just, I don't know. So I was helping her. She was changing her clothes. She was actually clipping her toenails, as crazy as it sounds. And her toenails were really long. But it was like she couldn't get down far enough, because if she were to jump out of there, she had no parachutes or anything. So I'm assuming that that's what the kids had used or whatever. I'm not sure. And we had closed the door. And this room looked like one of these old ancient type rooms. Like, not an ancient type room. It had like a desk and a mantle, and the door was like a really nice door. It had like a glass door and everything, like a glass door, and then the stuff around it was a wooden, all that good stuff. Because I was like, I'm gonna shut this door and I'm gonna lock it, right? So we can get you dressed up, and we need to go find these kids, right? So he ended up staying in the room. He's like, oh, well, I'll just stay in here while she's finished doing whatever. I was already ready to go. So he shuts the door and he locks it, right? And he said, this is actually what we do to keep people out, is putting a picture on the wall, right? So they put a picture up on the door, to symbolize, hey, like, don't come in here. There's somebody in here. Everything is okay. So hanging up a picture up on the door or the glass or whatever the fuck it was, just the door. The door had like a glass inside. It was like a fancy type door. And it was like he didn't even know. But he had put it up there. He's like, give you guys a little bit before anybody notices anything, right? Because I don't think anybody noticed the plane. As soon as he put that up, there was a wall. Like if I'm sitting like this, like over here, there was like a wall right there. And there was like 2 dimensions of the wall. Like a how like sometimes a wall can have like a out a little bit and then in a little bit, just to make dimensions in the room, kind of like not a box type thing, but just 2 dimensions. As soon as he put that on there, these things over there, I looked instantly over there, things in the room started to shift around and change. And he's like, what the heck? The picture on the wall, because it was just a normal picture, like a painting or a picture or just something like that, and it kind of was scary looking and or whatnot. As soon as he put the picture up on the glass door, stuff in the room started to change, and those 2 walls that were over there, they became portals. So the pictures that were just on the wall, like a normal picture, like if I were to just go literally put a picture up on the wall, it actually came to life and you could walk right through it. It was like some real crazy shit. And the thing about it was like really actually pretty crazy shit. Like, I don't want to say it's like really that crazy and basic, like, but it really was. It was kind of like some demonic shit. The difference between the room and the other world is like the light was like this. Like, there was light coming through, everything like that. Bright, open. But as soon as he did that, right, the painting and everything was like a lidded, like a candle lit. There you go. Like a candle lit. There was more browns and reds and grays and stuff like that. So you could definitely tell the difference. So I'm like, it's kind of weird that somebody would just have a picture like that up on the wall. But that's just how the fuck it was. So she hurried up, finished clipping her nails because she was up there for a while. She put her shoes on and changed her clothes, and we literally walked right into a fucking frame, like a picture that was just beyond the wall. Like if I were to just take a picture of myself and just walk right through it, that's exactly what happened. And when we walked right through it, this whole thing Well, if you're walking into another world, it would be different. It just would be different. And that's where all of these people, that's where the kids had gone. So we were like, oh shit. So we were like, we walked through there and there was these horses and people were like, there was a person on the other side, like kind of controlling everything, must have been the leader of that area or whatnot. Okay, we're gonna be going out to a fight and or whatnot. Anybody who has pants and jeans on, make sure you're wearing those while you're on the horse, blah blah blah. And the horses, first of all, some of the horses looked like normal, like a normal horse, but some of them were small horses and some of them were big horses and some of them were very thin, like you could see like the rib cage of the horses, but they still had skin on them. And so people, I would like, there was all these people and I was just in the background, right? And I was like, why do you have all these short people back here and all these tall people up here? I was just like, I can't see nothing, I can't do nothing, blah blah blah. It was like this whole attitude type thing. The reason why I know that this was something, I was in the dream and I literally, no fucking joke, I could feel my heart. I was crying. Like I literally felt something. So I went to go, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go be on a little horse or whatnot. But I was too big. I was too big for the little tiny horse. I was like, this ain't gonna work for me. I was like, let me do something different. And I had to put on these dresses. Like there was 2 dresses. I was actually wearing like 2 dresses. It was some pretty crazy stuff to make it seem like there was 2 people on top of a horse, but in reality there wasn't. But I couldn't. But everybody else had gone. So I was just like, okay. And there's just like all these different rooms, like all these different rooms and everything like that. And there was this guy. Actually, what he actually kind of looked like, it could have just been because I'm just thinking of him, but that guy from Jewel.
Oh, Tevin.
He kind of looked like that gentleman. And he had 2 violins. He had one violin that was bigger and he had one violin that was smaller. And I was like, well, if I can't be out there fighting or whatnot, let me help play with this. And he's like, you know how to play the violin? I was like, no. I was like, but for some reason I just feel like if I had one in my hand I would just know what to do. And as soon as I had grabbed it, that's when I had felt that thing. And I literally almost started to cry. And literally I almost, like, I remember it because I'm like, I feel like I'm doing it right now. It's some crazy shit. It's just some crazy shit. And I've already been talking for 12 minutes. And it was like I was able to sync up with this gentleman. I don't know what they were fighting, but they were fighting something. They were fighting something. I remember that room. I remember walking into that. I remember that very specifically. We were sitting down like on a couch or something like that while she was like finishing doing up whatever she was doing. She wasn't a heavy lady. She was a thin lady. She was, well, obviously taller than me because I'm pretty short. And we're like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. So last night we were looking up some stuff. What is worse than Satan, right? And there is this thing or this creature or this being or whatever called a
I'm gonna look it up again.
Abaddon.
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 That was it. Abaddon.
Yeah, this motherfucker crazy as fuck. And then when I woke up, it was like I was still talking. I was just like, whoop all of our ass. I was like, God, we gonna have to talk about something. I was like, if I've done something wrong too, I was like, you know what? Throw my ass right underneath that bus. I was just like, I'm grounded too because I'm here with everybody else. This thing is fucking insane. I was literally, I think when you are like, he doesn't kill anybody. It was literally like I was walking with this monstrous thing and it didn't do anything harmful to me. It didn't do anything harmful to me. It was like I was walking and I was holding its hand or whatnot. And it was super crazy. Like it was a big thing. Like super, I mean, scary looking, whatever you needed to think of something scary. Okay? Like literally. But it was a big dude. Like a big dude, right? And he's about to go fuck up some shit. So I don't know, just on I don't know. It says that it is referred, isn't it also to, they said that he was also in the Revelations? I could have sworn I remember that. But he's,
I believe so, yes.
we're going to look that up too. But Job, it said to go to Job 26:6. And it says, hell is naked before him, and destruction hath no covering. So I'm going to read, because in this chapter there's only 14 little things. I'm just going to read this real quick and just see what comes out of it, what I think of, or anything like that. But insignificance, if you took anything from that, just because you do not believe, just even on my thing, just because I cannot see it does not mean I cannot believe it. And just because you do not believe it does not believe somebody else does not believe it. When I was here, right, I actually thought Jesus was in the room with me. I actually thought Jesus was I literally was just like, Jesus, bro? Like, for real? I have a very unique conversation with these things, okay? I would talk to Jesus just like I would talk to you. Ain't that some shit? Because I have some attitudes as well. Because no joke, I just feel like I just can't shut the fuck up. No joke. I'm going to tell you right now, we did Jesus hella dirty. And that shit is fucked up. We totally killed fucking God's baby. And we just killing babies left and right on the motherfucking planet. Not just with abortion, but neglect. People are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Emotionally abusing fucking children and all that stuff. We actually sacrificed kids on the fucking planet. On this fucking planet, bro. Like, this fucking planet. I'm not crazy. Anybody who actually hears me speak and actually knows what I'm talking about, they're going to be like, oh my God, this girl is actually speaking facts. I will be crazy to about 50% of the people on the planet. And the other 50% will always tell me, please never stop speaking. As crazy as it sounds, for the rest of my life. It does something. It's some pretty serious stuff. Look at my hair. Love you, Lise. But Job answered and said, How hast thou helped me that is without power? How savest thou the arm hath no strength? How hast thou consoled him that hath no wisdom? And how hast thou plentiful declared the thing as it is? To whom hast thou uttered words, and whose spirit came from thee? Dead things are formed from under the waters. We've talked about a lot of things. We've actually talked about a lot of things underneath the water. And in specific, when they were saying that the angels came down and they couldn't help it, but they did the business with, like, women, they were like this, well, didn't they punish the women? Some people actually believe that's what the mermaids are, that they punished the women and made them grow things underneath the water. And so when they sing to you, they can pull you under the water and basically kill you and shit like that.
Those are sirens.
Yeah. And they can read your mind. Ain't that something? And inhibits thereof. Hell is naked before him, and destruction hath no covering.
Destruction is Abaddon, or Abaddon is destruction.
Yeah, so this is the crazy thing. So think about this. So a person, right, or a demon, or whatever the fuck this thing is, right, they consider them to be a being and a place. That shit just made me think of some shit. That thing, if it is a person and a place, I wonder, That's why I think it's important. That's why they say if you look into somebody's eyes, it's the windows to their soul. I think if you look into its eyes, I think you actually go into its mind, and that's where it plays because it has full control of actually its entirety of its brain. Now, God supposedly created this creature, and he's supposed to be fighting good, but he also swings both ways, and he fights good and evil. A lot of these creatures that I find grants wishes, does things for the good and the bad. Just like that Queen MAB.
Mab.
Mab? She grants wishes to people in their dreams, good or bad. Think about that. He stretched out the north over the empty place, and hangeth the earth upon nothing. He bindeth up the waters in his thick clouds, and the cloud is not rent under them. He holdeth back the face of his throne, and spreaded his cloud upon it. He hath compassed the waters with bounds, until the day and night come to an end. The pillars of heaven tremble and are astonished at his reproof. He divideth the sea with his power, and by his understanding he smith
Smite.
Smiteth.
Smiteth. In other words, he killed it.
Through the proud. By his spirit he hath garnished the heavens. His hand formed the crooked serpent. Lo, these are parts of his ways, but how little a portion is heard of him. But the thunder of his power who can understand? That's all in 26. It makes me want to read more. In 25, there's only 1 through 6. Let's see what this says. Then answered Bildad the Shuhite, Shuhite,
Shuhite.
and said, Dominion and fear are within him. Are with him. Okay, because I was like, oh girl. He maketh peace in his high places. Is there any number of his armies, and upon whom doth not his light arise? And how can man be justified with God? Or how can he be clean that is born of a woman? The fuck? Behold, even the moon, and it shineth not. Ye, the stars are not pure in his sight. How much less man? What is a worm, and the son of man, which is a worm? So we're fucking worms, bruh?
Sounds like it.
What is that song? It's like the song we learned as a kid. I guess I'll go eat worms. Big, long, juicy ones. Short, fat, scrawny ones. Itsy bitsy teeny weeny worms.
I didn't ever learn that song, so I have no clue.
I can't even remember all of it because I'm just thinking about some shit. Listen, We're going to look in Revelation too. But I don't know where, so I'd actually have to look it up. I've already been talking for 24 minutes. Ain't that something? I'm going to go to... Revelation. Look that up, Terry. That Abaddon.
Abaddon.
No, I'm not smoking. No, I'm not on drugs. It's just coffee with some protein fucking shake in it. Earthquake. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to the heaven in a cloud. And their enemies beheld them. And the same hour there was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell in the earthquake, and were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant were affrighted, and gave glory to God of heaven. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And the seventh angel sounded. There were great voices in heaven, saying, The kingdoms of this world, because the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. And the 24 elders which sat before God on their seats fell upon their faces and worshipped God, saying, We give thanks to O Lord mighty God, which art and waste and art to come, because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and hast resigned. And the temple of God was opened in heaven, and there was seen his temple the ark of his testament, and were lightnings and voices, thunderings and earthquakes, a great hail. Made me think of that thing in Brazil. People always say that we're in Revelations, we're in the parts of the Revelations, but how long does it actually take? Where are we actually at? Did you look that up, Terry?
Okay, look up what exactly?
What are you doing on your phone right? What are you doing specifically right now on your phone?
Looking up Abaddon.
That's what I'm asking about. What part in Revelation?
Well, Abaddon is shown in Revelation 9:11, but it calls him Satan as
9:11.
well as Abaddon. So according to that particular verse, they are the same.
Okay. And they had a king over him, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. Okay, so let's read a little bit of this, and then I'll get off of here. And the fifth angel sounded. I saw a star fall from the heaven onto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there was you can see something in the room, can't you? Y'all see that? That's why I'm recording myself. I'm not fucking crazy. I might sound crazy because people just don't understand. And people that just don't understand things typically fear those things. God is always with me. Do not fear. He said you're doing great. Okay. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth. That is what he runs, dude. And these locusts aren't just like little tiny little baby type things. They like some crazy ass shit. Like, look that shit up. He literally, these locusts had like faces or something of like lions. Human female hair. They had like a bunch of shit going on with them. Look some shit up. This shit is crazy. Why? Where did this come from then? Where did this stuff come from? This is just some dollar book, right? Just some dollar shit. Like, I could go get an expensive one. Actually, one that you know what I actually should do? I should go get I have like a Hebrew book. I'm going to be doing some research today. And there came out the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented for 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he had striketh a man. That hurts. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locust. Jeez, I feel like my eyeballs are like broken.
Put on your glasses, girl.
I know, I keep forgetting that I have them.
She'll be right back, folks.
Look at my wonderful glasses, y'all. What's up? Ain't that something? I guess I never really could tell the difference before, but now wearing them, I can tell the difference. Okay. Where he had strike the men's. Okay. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared into battle, and their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. What the fuck? And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was the sound of chariots of many horses running into battle. And they had tails unlike unto scorpions, and they were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men for 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew tongue was Abaddon. So we had just talked about this, but I wanted to read more because I wanted to figure out what the heck it was and all that good stuff. Greek tongue hath name Apollon. One woe is past, and beyond there come 2 woes more hereafter. And the 6th angel sound, I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God. Oh, you guys are grounded. 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 Anybody's out there sacrificing babies? Yeah, I pray that God whoops your ass. And if he got this motherfucker that he created to not kill, he's like, I'm not gonna kill you. He's like, I'm gonna want you to feel like you want to die, but you ain't gonna die. He's like, because I ain't gonna kill you. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? Ask for some protection. Ask God for some protection. Give your heart to God. Have him protect it, because you have no idea what he's actually protecting your ass from. Look, you can see me through my glasses. Saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. So we've talked about that too, the Euphrates River and how it's drying up. Just like in the movie Hercules. When I've gone to these places in my interpretation, right, I've actually seen a lot of stuff underneath the ground, like in the water. It's like I could see it. It's like chained up. And it's tall and skinny looking. And the 4 angels were loosened, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, to slay the 3rd part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000.
Which I think, if I figured the math right, would be 200 million.
And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of
Jacinth? I don't know what
jacinth.
that is.
Jacinth. We're gonna have to look some stuff up, y'all.
I'll look that up right now.
And brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. Ain't that something? And out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. We'll just finish reading this because there's only a couple things left. By these 3 was the 3rd party of men killed by the fire and the smoke and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths, for their power is in their mouth, and is in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do not hurt. And the rest of men, which not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. Neither repented they of their murderers, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts.
Jacinth is actually a precious stone.
Where does it come from? What does it look like?
It actually looks a lot like a garnet.
Mm.
Kind of like between a garnet and a fire opal. Here are some pictures of it.
That's that red stone I was telling you about. Remember that show I was telling you about? With the Merlin. He's like, daylight is mine to command or whatever. It's like that Troll Hunters or whatever show I was telling you about. He went into this other world. This is what it looks like. He went into this other world, and the first stone he had was blue. But when he went into this other world, and yes, it talks about the dumb shit, bravery, strength, fighting fear, all that dumb stuff, right? He obtained a stone like this. Do I know that's the stone particularly? No. I actually don't know, because it's just a cartoon. But they had to come up with the idea of something. Jacinth,
something like that.
Or hyacinth, whatever, is the yellow, red to red brown. Ain't that something? That room, that area was like that color. Do you think the room was covered in that?
In your dream?
Mm-hmm.
It could have been. That could have been why it was.
It literally, I swear to God, Terry, I know this sounds fucking crazy as fuck. I walked through a painting.
I know, you said that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's wild. I've seen myself in a lot of stuff. I don't think I'm actually going to be part of anything. You know how, like, this is how I feel like I am personally. You know how, like, in, like, army and stuff like that, they have people who, like, take pictures and photos and video some of the fight going on, and they're not actually fighting anybody, but they're recording everything.
Kind of like a television reporter.
That's how I feel. I feel like I'd be going to all these places, and I'm just literally, no joke, describing it or recording it or saying it or something like that. I don't think, because everything that I've ever gone through, I'm never able to actually do whatever everybody else is doing. Y'all heard that, right? Mm-hmm. Used as a gemstone in Exodus 28:19. Exodus. See, I am not good with these words. That's what she's good for. One of the precious stones set into the Hashan is called in Hebrew Leshem, Leshem, which is often translated into English as Well, I still don't know how to say the word. Jacent? Jacent?
I would say probably Jacinth, but I don't know. I tried to find it. Let me look it up and see if I can find a pronunciation.
Okay, it says Exodus 28:19. Okay.
Jacinth.
Jacent. 28:19. In the third row, a ligure and a gate and an amethyst. Well, let's go back up a little bit. And thou shalt set in settings of stones, even 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a sardius, Sardus, and a topaz, and a carbuncle shall be the first row. This is really making me think of some real Steven Universe shit. The Great Battle. And the stones shall be with the names of the children of Israel, 12 according to their names, like the engravings of a signet. Every one with his name shall be according to the 12 tribes. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate chains at the ends of Wreathen? Wreathen.
Where are you?
Exodus chapter 28.
Exodus.
21 right now. Or 22.
28, 22.
Of pure gold. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate 2 rings of gold, and shall put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And thou shalt put 2 wreathen chains of gold in the 2 rings which are on the ends of the breastplate. And the other 2 ends of 2 wreathen chains shall fasten into the 2 ouches, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod before it. I think, remember I was talking about the suit of armor? Bro, I think in this, well, not this book specifically, but the Bible, actually the real one, like the real one, like if God came down here right now and he's like, go get me my book, and I went and gave him this book, he would throw it right out the window. Why? Because man has changed this book multiple times, just multiple times. The power is actually in the words. If he's telling you how to truly make the suit of armor for God to protect you. I will show you, and I will tell you how to make a suit of armor. And you have to think, if you have a breastplate of gold, that's probably going to be heavy.
Breastplate of any kind of metal is going to be heavy.
So you would have to be strong to have that. Ain't that something? Also, I wanted to look up the other word.
One word you were trying to say is, I believe, wreathen, but I am not sure. I believe it means like woven. And the word ephod, that's ephod.
What does that mean?
I am not positive, but give me a second and I will look it up.
When I was going through, okay, so there's a left and then there's a right. So when people go on this pathand or whatnot, the left side, most people don't go on there, and they're actually kicked out because you're actually naked. Like, your whole body is naked. And most of the time when people step right across the barrier, they get exuded out because they are ashamed of their bodies. So they're barefoot and they are naked and they walk into like the palace or whatever the heck, right? And then the other way, it goes into like the same, it's like this whole, like this one goes this way and this one like goes like this. Ain't that something?
It is actually pronounced ephodi, and it
Ephodi?
is a linen apron worn in ancient Hebrew rites.
Like an apron just for like your bottom?
Actually, back in those days, an apron covered the entire front from here to below the knees, I believe.
So a really long one.
Yes, it covers your entire front of your body.
Because also as well, the spiders have silk and they can weave them, and they're actually pretty strong, like bulletproof. So I wonder, and like all of the people are wearing these clothing, but they look like this, like just like regular clothing, but the material is super strong to protect them. It doesn't. If you haven't already, Madam Sir Mambrosis, please go love yourself today, right now. If you see this video, oh, I watched this crazy lady with crazy hair talking about some stuff. Well, hi. How are you? Please go and love yourself. There is nothing on the entire planet that would make me more joyful than for you to be happy and sincere and give your life to God and be protected forever. So you never have to be tortured. That would be pretty dope. Please go love yourself. Please repent whatever you need to repent. Anybody who has chosen the naughty side, right, and has decided to stick with that, there is nothing I can say or do to convince you to not do that. You would have to have the idea yourself. You have to willingly choose a side.
Hey, before you get off, the word looks like ouches. I haven't looked up how to pronounce
Yeah, that's
it.
what I was like, ouch.
It is an Old English word denoting cavities or sockets in which gems were set.
So like teeth?
No, on like the breastplate and stuff like that. It would be, like how when a person has a crown, how it will have gems set in the
Oh,
crown.
okay, yeah.
Those little areas where the gems are put. That's what they are called.
Ouches?
Yeah, let me look and see how it is actually pronounced.
Ouches? Land Before Time. Were you looking up Land Before Time? I swear.
I was, yes. I was looking it up to see about the different.
The Bible references a pair of gold ouches set with engraved ankhs sewn one on each shoulder, so they would sit on your shoulder, and suspending a chain between them supporting a breastplate. So they have to be connected. Medieval ouches were worn as cloak clasps with chain suspended between them, and also known as a notch or an ouch and an ouch.
And it is pronounced exactly as it looks. Ouches.
Let me see if I can actually tap on it. Let's see. The high priestess gown garments. Plate of pure gold, shoulder straps, ephod, ephod. Breast.
Ephodi. Ephodi.
There's
I
actually.
just looked that up too.
Look at this.
Ephodi.
Yeah, something like this. Look at this. Atone for evil speech. Colossians. Gold plate worn on the Cohen's gal's forehead. Look at this. I might be getting off here, y'all. It says, God is my strength and power, for with God all things are possible. Now, this is just a chain thing, and this is just a commercial thing, but actually think of it as something else. Well, like if you saw an actual real one. But you see how they have all these like stones on there? Oh, this one looks a little bit more. Oh, okay. You see this? You see how like they have like the a little blurry, but give you an idea. Something to think about, y'all. Ephod without breastplate. So it's just some cloth. In fourth row, a beryl and onyx and a jasper, and they were enclosed in ouches of gold in their settings. So I'm guessing in each row they have a certain amount of things. Ain't that something? So if our energy source comes from our heart, right? And it's a light, right? Because God is in our hearts. I'm assuming when something crazy happens and we have this breastplate on, our hearts will illuminate some light, which will come from us, right? And it will shine through the gems or whatever, or the stones. And the stones have their own ability of stuff. Guys, I don't know freaking everything. And they will shine through them, right? And they will do different things. So if certain army people and stuff is around you, right? And your heart illuminates the light, right? Just like a rainbow, bro. You know when you hit a light onto like a diamond and like all of these lights are around it, it like goes everywhere? That's what I'm assuming.
Prism.
Prism? Let's look that up real quick.
Prism.
Doesn't hear you. Prism. Excuse me. An optical prism is a transparent optical element with a flat, polished surfaces that are designed to refract light. At least one surface must be angled. Elements with two parallel surfaces are not prisms. Rules. Can create prisms in a lens. As an opticians, we are trained to optimize a patient's vision. Okay, well. Okay. Well, yeah. Have you ever seen those little prisms? You look inside of it and it's all like pretty and all of those. It's kaleidoscopes, aren't they?
That is a kaleidoscope, what you are describing, yes. A prism is not necessary. A prism does not need to be in a kaleidoscope. If you hold it in such a manner, the light will come in. It's basically a triangle with a flat surface on both ends that the sun comes in the one, reflects off the bottom, and will shine through the other and create a rainbow.
Ain't that something? So, God is the rainbow. He is the hope. He is the everything. He's a pretty boss ass motherfucker. So when you're out fighting battle and everything, to keep his children to not be afraid, right? The light that comes within you when you're fighting off the bad guys, it's like a big ass disco ball. The importance. It disperses light or it modifies the direction and sometimes polarization of light. Different colors. Upon passage through the prism, the white light is separated into component colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. The separation of visible light is into its different colors is known as dispersion. Something to think about, y'all. Please go and give yourself stop doing stuff. Just stop doing shit that's you already know that's fucked up, okay? I don't know what to say. I feel like I've said a whole lot, and I've been on here for an hour and it doesn't even seem like it. How quick time just flies. I love you. I love you. And I want nothing but the best for you. Please go love yourself today. Go have a conversation with yourself and God. Some things are really starting to change. Take care of yourself. Because you're the only you've got. I am not here to scare you. Nope, that's not my job. That's not my job. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Be prepared. Have a wonderful day. We're going to do some research today, so we'll let you know about some more stuff. Don't mind the hair. Have a blessed day, y'all.